Hello. The garden is something that's been necessary for a long time. There has always been a natural need for the human being, as a natural being, to have access to holistic healthcare, what's been now coined as holistic healthcare, which of course used to be called healthcare, and before that it was called nothing at all. It was just we looked after each other, we looked after ourselves, we were educated in the ways of healing, and we've become so far in our strange upside-down society, which is shaped by certain influences, to become disempowered in terms of our own health education, health knowledge, and curative abilities. So for the past 19 years I've been working on developing my holistic curative abilities. Initially I decided to be a pediatric doctor, part of the mainstream paradigm. Very quickly during the training for it on that path, realized that this was not at all what it was cracked up to be, what it was being heralded as. Nothing to do with health promotion, nothing to do with health prevention, or rather disease prevention, nothing to do with a cure of anything at all. It completely consumed with only selling medicines, which never addressed the cause. Don't get me wrong, I have huge respect for health staff who are concerned with trauma medicine. That's the area that I did stick at to when I was working in hospitals for the NHS in the UK for a few years. And of course, if you're hit by a bus or you fall down a cliff, you don't call your naturopath, and you don't call your masseuse, and you don't call your theta healer or your reflexologist or your hypnotherapist or your Chinese doctor even. You call for an ambulance who sticks your leg back on. And that is fantastic. That's very, very worthwhile and hard to be argued with. But for everything else, I think this pharmaceutical model of for-profit, patented healthcare, which only looks at covering over symptoms, is wildly inappropriate and causes a lot more destruction than it does help. So the foundation of this healing centre, the Garden, is a holistic medical centre, multidisciplinary. I spent the last 3 years getting together a good team of people who are very skilled and very experienced in their field, and I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of people who have very different fields, and so that works perfectly, because I believe to be holistic you have to have many angles addressed. I don't want to have 35 different people, but all Chinese doctors, because it's still within one system, one paradigm, one healing modality, one healing history, one angle. So I don't think you can have a holistic health centre with just one or two people or one or two approaches to medicine. So last count, there are about 30 different approaches to medicine of people who are on the team, which is currently around 111 strong. That's including eco-builders and other contributors and collaborators in other ways. But most of the team are medical, and so that forms the core of what the Garden is. It's somewhere to come for free. Patients can come for free, and that's key. That's why I stress that, because when it's for profit, it's also for corruption, and that's very hard to avoid. And it becomes very desirable in that paradigm to, of course, see the patients as quickly as possible, to tick the box, to give them medicine, go away, get out of my office. In inner London, where I used to work, GPs had 4 minutes to meet, assess, diagnose the patient and prescribe something. Impossible with any kind of level of quality. You cannot get to the root of somebody's problem in 4 minutes. You can't get to the root of somebody's problem in 20 minutes unless you're a very powerful psychic. You need to take a full history of their sleep, of their dietary habits, of their stress levels, of what their job means to them, what their life means to them, of their, all sorts of factors which are going to contribute to why this person has whatever disease they have. And this is very much another part of the holistic health approach, which the Garden will encompass very well. Other aspects will include naturally, because it's the garden. It's for earthlings, a sanctuary for all species. So there'll be a team of vets and vet assistants and vet nurses, and also unqualified people that are just very good at working with animals. We're very lucky to have a couple of world-class vets, including one whose job it is to tour universities and teaching establishments of the world and teach them how to teach veterinary science. Very passionate vegan, very passionate veterinarian. Puts her money where her mouth is very good at working with animals. That's the kind of animal care we'll be giving. There'll be, of course, an eatery on site for both patients and staff. There'll be accommodation, small but beautiful, modest buildings made of cob. Earth bag could be an option as we expand. Straw bales are very quick to erect and very pretty, and they feel nice, straw bale houses. So yeah, those are the main aspects of what the garden will be. Self-sufficiency as well, of course. That's increasingly important now, as some of the leaders of the power structure are trying to take away human sovereignty and our ability to exist without centralized and monopolized resources. So it's very important now, more than ever, with attempts to remove our freedoms, to have self-sufficiency with food and also electricity and water. So this will be an obvious backbone of the garden. It's back to nature, but with a very high skill set of people, entrepreneurial people, socially dynamic people, very progressive people. As I said, about 111 so far and counting members of the team who are interested in achieving this. So join us, help to fundraise, donate. We're at the stage where after donations reach a certain level, 100,000 euros, we can now use our contacts around the world. Most of them I've got in Portugal. That seems to be a very good place to build, because of the cheapness of the land, the quality of the land, the fertility of the land, the relatively progressive and supportive government. But there's other places on the shortlist. So we really need, as quickly as possible, because of the political situation especially, to be able to supply the service that I've been talking about, the healing service, the space, for a decent amount of people as quickly as possible on self-sufficient land. So there is a time frame to this now. Join us and be part of a kind of social movement and model of society which is very much necessary, as dictated by our genes. You know, we feel good when we're in nature. Within 20 minutes, immune system markers are elevated to a level which is measurable just by being surrounded by nature. It's obvious that we need to live in harmony with the land. So yeah, welcome to the garden.